Well. What do we have here, DM?
Quite an interesting set of flags here. I hear this was based on something Crab Cakes came up with.
Yeah, I didn't look at these flags until about half an hour ago, but before we get into that, hi everyone! It's Woat! That's
Yay,
your cue,
Woat!
Dark Moon! Introduce yourself to the people at home!
You just did! Why would I have to introduce myself? I'm Dark Moon.
Thank you. It's not that hard. But anyway, yeah, welcome to this train wreck of a flag set. We're running the challenge seed this week. Not the challenge seed itself, but the flags. Because no one stopped Crab Cakes from suggesting this. And there's a lot to go over, but we've let the runners stew long enough, so they're going to go ahead and get going, and we'll talk about what they're up against. So yeah, as you can see, Will Bloodworth is doing something dumb, and everyone else is doing something sensible, as is tradition.
Yeah, I think we were just discussing that more than likely Red Mage Jack is going to be kissing dirt soon, and he's going to be running one thief through all of it, because Will is known for the you only need one strat of one thief.
I feel like he's at least going to keep the Red Mage up so that, like, he actually finishes this seed sometime before we all are old and gray.
So, sometime before the challenge seed runs on Thursday.
Because, yeah, we have clamped bosses at 400%, clamped enemies at 200%, randomized everything relating to floors and dungeons and towns.
Well, we have Ice 3 and Exit at the Canaria shops for magic. We also have Titan's Tunnel. Yeah. And we have Titan's Tunnel up at the Canaria Castle. So as soon as we find that ruby, which literally could be anywhere, you'll be able to use that.
Yeah, you know how we have all these like nifty incentivization options with the randomizer? None of those are turned on today.
None. Absolutely none. What was turned on was good items at the weapon and armor shops. I saw opal armor, ribbons, pro rings, maybe a white shirt there, and a
Black
fighter
shirt
lurking up at the tavern. That's a lot of good stuff here at Canaria.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not the worst start. I think arachnids have officially traumatized the community.
They've become Germadeuses of death at this point.
I mean, that seed has a name now, so once a seed has a name, there's no going back. But
the spiders are on fire! Kill them!
Well, so far the imps haven't done anything horrifying, so thank goodness for small favors. Now, one flag that is on today is randomized touch attacks, which is different from our usual shuffle touch attacks. Because shuffle touch attacks, you know exactly how many touch attacks of each type are in the game. Notice how I said random touch attacks. We have no idea how many death touches are out there. We have no idea how many stone touches are out there. I think there's mute touches out there too.
Yeah, it's guaranteed that there's going to be one of each of the touch effects, I believe. So, like, I know there's an enemy in the game that has a dark touch and a few other things. Those can happen still. But what's also going to happen is that you could have only one, you could have 5, maybe 10. Who knows how many there are going to be out there? It's just going to kind of happen.
Yeah. Let's see. And it looks like we had mermaids up at Temple of Fiends, so that's going to be a nice cache early on.
Oh yeah, that's a lovely amount of stuff that you can pick up. Canal is lurking there, I just saw. Some of the ribbons that they're already going for, so they don't have to buy any. Like, it's nice to see mermaids early because, you know, money, items, and excal. It's all kinds of stuff that you can use without really having to do much in the way of effort. An adamant. See, this is what I think you were talking about earlier, is when you have loose everywhere, you find the loose items real quick.
Yeah, we do also have random treasure on today. I don't think we mentioned that yet. So, it is one of those things. We could wind up with plenty of loose stuff. So, Canal and Adamant, that's good. That's interesting to see early. The only question is where on Earth our boat is.
Well, the Adamant seems to direct you to go over to Dwarf Cave. I'm where they're at right now, not knowing if Provoka is going to be Provoka. Heck, for that matter, I guess they don't know if Dwarf Cave is going to be Dwarf Cave.
Yeah, we have no idea where the dwarves are right now.
No. Check Provoka first, and then try and see if Dwarf Cave maybe has something for you in the other direction, and kind of wander around in that direction. Without the canoe, you're not heading into the river system, so Provoka and then a clockwise path around the world might be their best bet.
Yeah, I think we just saw Tia Floor underneath Matoya, so...
Well, at least they know where that boss is now. I don't think they're going to go for the 1-2 punch of Warmech and Tia just yet.
But hey, look! Oh yeah, we do have a required Warmech today, and there's our first split of the seed. Top of Marsh.
Is that a dwarf? Yeah, it's a dwarf.
Yeah, you can.
I was tipped off by the orange color.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can tell by the autumnal shades of this particular marsh cave split.
Autumnal, very nice.
Look! Y'all know I got that power vocabulary.
Oh, I liked it. I thought that was fantastic.
But yeah, so. It is one of those things where right now, as is tradition in these everything is everywhere seeds, it's kind of hard to keep up with where everyone went. Okay,
yeah.
So it wasn't Matoya. I guess that, that must have been under Provoka then.
Spider Floor here is nice to find, and we have an eye early on the encounter row, it looks like. If you get some saving items, you can kind of grind off that eye pretty quick. I wouldn't necessarily hate that idea. You know, once you have some weapons you can use or some good spells, but eyes are a nice quick grind to find.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they do, here's a thought. If they find the 3-eye grind, would the appropriate spell there be Eyes 3?
That's terrible. I love it.
Yeah.
But no, I like having the spider floor there. It looks like I think that was the north side of the marsh split if I was following along. Also, credit to Cheesinator for that eye beholder sprite that he has there, because that was very frightening looking.
Yeah, if I'm not crazy, isn't that the original eye sprite from the Japanese version?
Mm-hmm. Before they had to change it for copyright reasons.
There's a reason I refer to this as the greatest unlicensed D&D game ever made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was top marsh split at Dwarf Cave led to Sky Spider, which was Crown, and then as soon as Cheese got that, he exited out. Smart move and good use of the exit spell they got so early.
Alright, so yeah, we have Ice 1 leading to Tiamat over at Provoka. So... And then it looks like Elfland Castle is at Matoya. And then, yeah, we're still exploring the Dwarf Split. And we've got Titan at Canaria Castle. So, a very interesting spread early on.
I can't say I blame Cheese for exiting out briefly before coming back later, because, one, he had a character down, and it was also just a matter of, you know, get what you get, make sure you have it saved, come back later. All good moves on his part, I think.
Yeah. So, Darkmoon, here's a question for you. When you're dealing with seeds like this, are you more of a depth first or a breadth first kind of guy?
I believe the answer would probably be that you're looking for is depth, based on, you know, the way you asked it. I prefer to come into an area, and if the area can be explored, I will explore it out. Now, there are some places where you go in, you're just like, you try walking a couple steps, and you get destroyed by one monster pack after another, and it's just not worth it. But any place that you can go into and explore, you want to explore as deep as you can before you get stopped, because you never know, especially in one of these where every loose item could be anywhere, you never know where it may be, and you don't want to pass up the one treasure chest that might have what you're looking for.
Yeah, I tend to be more of a kind of poke everywhere that I can a little bit first, partially because I like to take overworld encounters early on to kind of get some HP on my party before I start diving.
Germaduces are packing heat. They like trounced the Asher Black Mage there on Amon Mark in one smack, and that was all she wrote.
Well, that's the thing about Germaduces is, you know, normally you don't see them as a threat because by the time you're seeing them, you usually have decent armor. Mm-hmm. But
a fire spell or something that they're weak to.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where if you're not very well equipped, they do generally hit for 8 to 10 punches, and that's bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Spells I saw at level 5 Melman lurking at Northwest Castle that were important were Bane and Life.
Yeah, and that's a 55k chest in the spider room, so...
That's some money right there for houses.
Yeah. But yeah, so it is one of those things that where, like I was saying, I tend to favor a more kind of broad search first, just to figure out what all my options are, especially if there's like free chests somewhere. But there is also the argument to be made for depth.
I like progression, and I like to get progression as fast as possible. Admittedly, I'm not the best player at this game.
I'm absolutely wretched.
As evidenced by the fact that I managed to just barely squeak through on the Duckling Derby that we just ran. There are much better players out there than I am, but I think it's really, a lot of it comes down to personal preference, and the way that I play, I like to follow the progression through, and I like to clear any spot that I can get to, because if it's there, I want to make sure I never have to go back. So on a seed like this, where everything could be anywhere, I want to make sure I can go back. I have to go back to as few places as possible, because otherwise I know. Hey, there we go, Tia lurking underneath that Provocaflor you were talking about.
Yeah, way to pay attention, Dark Moon.
I heard you, but I forgot what location it was.
Okay, fine.
If I'd paid attention to Danny's notes, which I chronically never do, I would have known that.
See, in my case, it's not that I try to ignore our tracker's notes, it's that I have one monitor, and, yeah. I'm just going to leave it at I have one monitor. So, I'm just going to point out something that's deliciously ironic. We have ribbons for sale in Canaria. We have already found 3 ribbons.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. I see 2 on Ale Market alone. Like, you don't even need to buy them if they're going to come at you that fast.
Yeah, Ale actually already has 3 of them. So
well, and you know, the thing is, if they keep falling this fast and fun, you can actually start selling your ribbons after you get 4 of them, because I believe they were worth 55 grand. There's some money for you right there.
I thought there were 22, but here's something I just noticed. I think the C split is under the Marsh split, if I'm reading that color scheme correctly.
It is. I was watching them followed by one of the middle floors of Marsh, which he's skipping the chests for, which I don't think I would do that necessarily. I know Marsh can be scary, but you haven't seen Marsh top yet, and there could be a key item lurking here.
Well, it's one of those things. He's Oh no, he does have. Does he have exits still? I can't tell.
As long as his red mage is up, he should.
I think his red mage is his only character. Oh no, he also has a living black mage.
Ouch!
I mean, not for long.
No, there it goes. And, yep, he's out. It was a good try. Give him credit for that. That was a good try, everyone.
Those look like some really weak hits from the Arsahogs, at least, so that's nice. Oh hey, there's our herb.
And Volcano at Marsh, I believe, from that color scheme. And a very ominous-looking Grey Worm.
Yeah. Now, we do have objective NPC on. If I'm not crazy, I think Dr. Un is actually at Elfland Castle, which we did see at Matoya.
Chat confirmed that. I was going to mention that, but you beat me to it. Nicely done. I'm curious what's going to be here at the Agma chest. The 4 Red Hydra pack. If you have the ability to kill them, which these Ice 3s... Oop, wait. They rolled a little high.
Yeah. So this to me seems like a situation where maybe you would have dumped that money you were planning to spend on ribbons into some black shirts.
Yeah. But that said, this is... I mean, you really wanted to keep your party alive for this, but that can be a great grind tile. I mean, you saw that red mage. Black mage is suddenly up to 14. Yeah,
I was going to say... I mean, CC at least now has a really buff black mage.
Super! He is ripped right now!
Okay, is this even randomized? Agama floor leads to carry floor? Come on.
I was going to point out and there goes the ripped black mage. So, I was going to point out that the Agama chest had the crystal lurking behind it. So if you ever find out where Matoya is, that is another turn-in right there.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, we've got plus 20% scaling per key item today. So,
Yeah, so
you're
walk it
going to
out,
get
you
a
got the
lot of
experience.
golden XP.
Mm-hmm. Your Black Mage can be even more ripped.
Yeah, it looks like CC is being mindful of that. She's going straight back in, grabbing the herb, grabbing the crystal, and presumably going to get the heck out if,
Yeah, she's running from that
Yeah.
pack. I can't blame her with how beefy they are. Like, in the traditional game, your red Hydras will die to a single Ice 3, but here it took 2 Ice 3s and a Thor Hammer, and they still weren't dead. Now,
I mean-
admittedly, they didn't. They low rolled on one of those spell casts, but still, that's a lot of health for a red Hydra.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone who happens to be running and got killed and got most of her party killed by those R Hydras was the one who decided to clamp enemies at 200%. So
I mean, yeah. I've run
she
seeds
only
like
has
this
herself
before.
to blame. Okay, so
You know, when a situation like that happens in a seed like this, I'm not even mad the first time. I just laugh because you're like, that's what I signed up.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, though, where the person who designed the flag set specifically suffers for it. There's something poetic to it, you know? Also, we do have Zozo Melmond on, so, oh, hey! So that's where the Elf Doctor is.
Oh, very nice. Well, that's a turn-in right there. And since we already know where the Elf Castle is, you can just walk right back over there and see what he has. If anything. Could just be a treasure chest, for all we know.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Nothing is incentivized, and that includes the NPCs. So, like, the Elf Prince might just be like, hey, thanks for bringing me out of that coma, here's 2 gold. And it's just like, I always knew elves were crappy tippers.
Elfland Town is a dead Cardia. Elf Castle is Onrak. And I am curious, once they find Oxyel, what might be underneath Onrak.
Oh, we already found Oxyel.
Did we? I missed that one.
It was somewhere.
Oh, C. Was it C? That was one of the ones I missed. There's a lot going on right now, as you might have noticed.
Yeah,
But
I
no.
did see it. I did see the Oxyel pickup, but yeah, there's a lot going on, so it's hard to keep it straight. But that's why we have other people taking notes.
Exactly.
Shoutouts to Darren Dries and Danny.
So we found Lufane at a brown tile. I think that might be Melmond, because it looks kind of blood red, actually.
I don't think it's Melmond because we haven't found a boat yet.
You're right. You're right. No shit. That's my fault.
It could be a deep town. This could be. Yeah, that's
Are they on?
deep in Dwarf Cave.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn. Then yeah, that's entirely possible. Yeah, that must be the South Split where the South Split led to.
Yeah. So, good thing that NPCs aren't incentivized, because you can just last location that Lefane.
No kidding. That said, that does leave me to root now for a deep town underneath the deep Onrak that we already have, because that can happen and it's hysterical.
Deep Provoca beneath the waves.
It's happened. I saw it recently. There was a Elfland buried 3 floors underneath the submarine at Onrak, which itself was buried 5 floors into a dungeon. I laughed so hard at that.
Okay, where the crap did we find a boat? Crabcakes has a ship, and I don't know where she found that.
I mean, it was presumably in a box. I just don't know what box. Because even our trackers seem to have missed it.
Yeah, it's, that's a thing.
I actually don't recall seeing anyone from chat see it. Oh! Volcano
Thank you,
Floor
Spellzap.
Marsh Cave, Spellzap.
Thank you, Spellzap. Okay.
Thanks, Spellzap.
So, with that boat and that canal, the world is open to anyone who makes it down to that layer of volcano floors.
It's a whole extra series of checks they can do all around the world. Very handy.
Mm-hmm. Which, you know, obviously means that the seas are going to be full of treacherous things that will make everyone regret the decision to not just go with free airship.
I'm rooting for Blaze Sahags.
I don't know. I'm feeling something like Death Touch Sharks.
As a reminder, that Blaze Arachnid Seed that everyone had to suffer through a few days ago, it also had Agamas that cast Lit 2, if I'm not mistaken, which made for a seriously delightful early game.
Yeah, yeah, classic gamer, you're asking if Deep Topher is on? It is absolutely on. Everything that could be turned on with regard to randomizing the maps, kinda on, except, like, proc gen Earth floors. And that's because Danny and Dark Moon are cowards.
It's not cowardice, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't end up with that 3 in 256 chance that the Earth floors that we got weren't beatable, and then we played an hour and a half in and suddenly couldn't finish the seed.
That sounds like coward talk, Dark Moon.
Okay, that's fair. Then I'm a coward. I'll take it. Hey, look, it interacted! Oh, you ran from it. I want to see if that plays.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, so we do definitely have 3 ribbons already located, so this is silly.
This is a very randomized seed with all the randomized treasures, randomized towns, randomized locations, randomized everything, tavern mode on, and about the only thing that isn't randomized is because it's actually randomized if you think about it from the fact that we turned it all off, with all the incentive locations being off, so everything is just everywhere. It's a confetti seed, essentially. We just threw everything in the air to see what happened, and then we're like, go.
Okay, I am borrowing the phrase confetti seed from now on because that's beautiful. Where was the loot?
Hell if I know.
Like, I keep looking at people's screens and they pull up their items. It's just like, wait, when did they get that?
Right? Loot was apparently... Oh, loot is free for short Topher, as our...
Oh, you're right!
Aaron's Rise tells us. Yes.
You're right.
Well done for catching that. Because we clearly have no clue what we're watching at this point.
I mean, the chaos has already suffused us. We're just kind of riding the flow of madness. But yeah, no, the encounters are out randomized across zones. I assume because Crab Cakes wanted this to be finishable.
Yeah. Some things are a little too cruel. And because we're playing on beta, there are some other features that we couldn't turn on, obviously. But pretty much everything that she could turn on that seemed silly but not too unfair is on at this point. And with an eye, of course, towards the short Topher with a 400% clamped alt final boss, and who knows what it's going to be, making sure that they could beat it by giving us tavern mode in case their early party isn't what they need for the late game. That just
okay.
here as well.
Darkman, I'm going to have to interrupt you there for a moment.
Go for it.
I think both Lefane and Crescent Lake are at the bottom of that sea split on the south side of the marsh split at Dwarf Cave.
I love it. That's amazing. Okay, we found a proc-gen waterfall here, which Will Bloodworth is taking some notes for before he goes diving deeper. This was, I think... Man, I missed where it was. I just know that it's in the big Dwarf Cave massive dungeon that we have. Because Dwarf Caves is silly right now.
Yeah, I bet this is underneath where Spider Room was. Because I don't think I've seen anyone go below Spider too far.
I think they've tried, but they get stuffed somewhere around the seafloors.
And Will Bloodworth taking a moment before finding out what's on the... You know, I was all set for something, like, shocking and unexpected. But this is just kinda... here.
I mean, it's fun, but it's ridiculous, but... So apparently these sages in this deep town have the floater.
Hashtag,
yeah, that was
is this even, like... What is the point of disincentivizing things if, like, they're just going to be like, have a floater?
Well, I think if Extended Open is on, that means that the ship that CC found could be used to turn in that floater that Cheesinator found. And that's all you need right there.
Yeah, and plus Will Bloodworth just found a key in Waterfall Cave.
Robot has a tent. Key is loose in Waterfall, so that's useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the tent is obviously the key item to discuss there, because who cares about key? Whatever.
Okay, so that Dwarf Cave features Provoca, not Provoca, Lefane, Crescent Lake, Waterfall Cave, and I thought we saw the 4th terminal point, but I don't remember what it was.
Trying to recall. We did see it. It's just so much has already happened, and these maps are hard to keep up with. But I am enjoying just how crazy strange this is. This is an early dungeon for them. This isn't like they found it late in the game. All of this progression is right here, right at the start.
Yeah, speaking of early, though, so we already know where Canaria is, obviously, but we've also seen Onrak, Melmond, Lefane, and Crescent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But of course, because this game is cruel, no Provoca, so they still don't have level 2 magic. And I'm struggling. I don't think we saw Elfland yet, so level 3 and 4 is out as well, so they're still stuck with their level 1 magic.
yeah, no, we have not seen Provoca, we haven't seen Gaia, and we have not seen Elfland yet. So...
So, when Cece was diving down here before, she got stopped by those Sahags on the floor right before she would have gotten to Crescent. She's managed to get through the whole Crescent side of things. She's now finishing out the other side of the C-split to try and see what's going on down here before she moves on with her progression. But again, Sahags.
Yeah, but she's well armed, and Will Bloodworth taking that key and turning it into a rod.
That is very nice.
Yeah, no, that's really nice, because while NPC Guillotine is on, everyone has agreed that they will not use it to cheat.
Well, that's because we're just waiting for the devs to fix it so NPC Guillotine doesn't kill the slab and the loot slab. Right now they do, but eventually.
Alright, so that's where that ship was.
Oh, and that's the floor that eventually leads to Carrie.
Okay, so... yeah, that is an interesting coincidence that, Agama floor runs down to Carrie.
It's an interesting thing that Spellzap just pointed out. The floater was at the incentivized sages, except for the fact that the sages aren't incentivized.
This is the second time I've pointed something out and you've just completely missed it, Dark Moon.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, now I'm seeing the ship, so I know exactly where it was in the map. Yeah, you're right, there was just a crazy amount of ribbons.
Yeah, no, I think someone in chat pointed out Crab Cakes might already have a full set. And if she doesn't, we're gonna have a full set before long. I mean, Will Bloodworth's probably already sold off a ribbon.
There is absolutely no excuse for not having a full complement at this point if you want it.
Yeah, because I guess we've seen enough money to buy that 4th ribbon if you really are desperate.
But why? I would just save it and keep collecting because they're apparently everywhere in the sea.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably getting a little bit of a false impression because we keep glancing around and, seeing people picking up the same ribbons over and over. As you do.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just looking at the inventory, that is guaranteed that there are 4 of them. We know that much, along with 2 mage staffs. That's nice.
But in the meantime, it looks like Crab Case is going to be our first on-stream runner to actually leave the Inner Sea. Since she has the boat, and she's not going to be too far behind. Because I think he also has his canal. Yeah, we saw him cross the bridge, of course he does. So,
yeah, this seed wanted you in the air as early as you could get there, basically. It gave you everything you needed in that dwarf cave.
Yeah, but with that... Will
is going up against the chicken.
Is he doing what I think he's doing?
I think he's trying to brack the oh god!
I mean, okay. In all fairness to Will, this is a valid strategy for
100%.
anyone who bore witness to the nuclear winter seed. Just because that Tiamat is so shallow, you can, in theory, just rush the war mech over and over again until you get lucky. So, I'm not saying it's the best move.
It was worth one try.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if if you really wanted to do something silly, it was on the table. Alright, so Crab Cakes, I think, hasn't seen Elfland Castle yet, because we knew that Bahamut had to be at Bahamut, because we've seen all the other objective NPCs. All 2 of them.
Okay, now, with your question from earlier, you were asking what would you do in this with this seed and how this is playing out. Here, with you being in the air at, like, sub 30 mark, I might start doing the fly around and poking at things to find some stuff that's easy to explore before I start really diving everything. Because now, the dynamics of this seed have changed, because you can go anywhere and you can do just about anything.
Yeah, and I think part of that, too, is, provoke us somewhere out there. And right now, I think in these runner situation, I'd be inclined to at least, like, poke around the Cardia Islands and such and see if there's a shallow Provoca. Or shallow Elfland.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at this point, Dwarf has pretty much every dungeon floor within it. There can't be that many more floors for Provoca to be hiding under.
We haven't seen a decent chunk of the game.
I'm being silly.
I know you're being silly, but for the folks at home, like, there's still a lot of depth, and it could be one of those situations where it's just like, yeah, there were only, like, 18 floors left. 16 of them were sitting on top of Provoca.
Which would be hysterical. So, Earth Cave leads to the Sea Short, which then leads to the Sea Empty. This is the floor that doesn't have any treasure chests on it, so when you find it, you just run away from it.
Yeah. Did Cheese take a wipe somewhere? He must have, because the tracker's showing he doesn't have the boat anymore, so...
I was honestly paying attention to Crab Cakes to see what new territory you're getting.
Yeah, because I can't imagine if he still had his ship that he would be back down here this quickly.
No. So those 2 sea floors that don't have anything on them have now led to a sky floor, the first level Sky Treasure, or Mirage Treasury, which is a nice little floor to find, honestly.
Oh, it's Sky Cave. You know, it goes with Earth Cave, Ocean Cave, and Fire Cave.
Yeah, I call it that too. I love those names for them.
Or if you are some of the members of this fine community, it's Sky Cave.
Well, I mean, we always say that when you have the chance, you need to go Sky. Crab Cakes kind of did that for us without realizing she was going to be doing that for us.
I mean, Crab Cakes, if... Oh, hey, Elfland! Crab Cakes is one of the chief cheerleaders of Always Sky. Lit 3 and Temperate, level 3 black, so that's nice.
I like those. Lit 3 is great for the early and mid-game for clearing out enemies. Temper is fantastic to have for the late game. Fade
Ruse
on
and
the light level.
Fade. Well, Ruse and Fade in the good spots, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's Knight learnable, that's Red Mage learnable, that's obviously White Mage learnable, that's
a nice compliment right there.
Yeah, that is the ideal for level 3 White Magic.
Darren Dries, one of our trackers, is reporting that the cube was on the carry floor, presumably in the only treasure chest that matters, the red deed chest.
You know, I'm looking at the flags. None of this stuff is incentivized.
None. Also,
Crab Cake's finding the best sword. For sale in Elfland.
Scimitar?
No, the other S sword.
I mean, I've watched Spellzap play. He has made me a convert to the idea that you can win the game with a scimitar, so...
You can win the game with a power staff. The only question is Chaos going to murder you before you can get enough buffing up?
If you're Spellzap, the answer is no. We got Fast and Quake and Lock at level 4 black.
Yeah, and Confuse if... See, I would almost be tempted to take Confuse over Lock.
Cure 4 issues that out, though, although that's in a bad spot.
Yeah, because you still have to deal with Carry 1 in a 400 clamp seed. I'm sorry, I'm taking Confusion. Because you know what Carry doesn't do if you get Confused on her? Hit you.
It's very true. She hits herself with fire. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Asher pointing out in chat, though, those link chests on Carry floor are linked to chests off of Carry Floor that you may not have seen yet. Oh, hey, there's the other end of Titan.
That's at Sarda, and then the west tunnel of Titan actually has the rod block level of Earth in it, which I'm not seeing Crab Cakes as having the rod, because that came from the Elf Prince, didn't it?
No, it came from the Treasury. Will Bloodworth's the only person who has a key, as far as I can tell.
There you go. Okay. So she didn't go in, so we don't know what's beyond that rod block. Obviously, she didn't know that she could potentially get
no.
past it.
I think Crab Cakes does have the key, but she never went to check Elfland Treasury.
There is Lich Floor right there, and it looks like she's going to go make a play for the undead speed bump. And kill that bat. Kill it dead.
Oh, hi, Carrie. I forgot that we had Fiend Shuffle on.
I believe everyone did. That might put the Carry Floor back into play.
Yeah, we see the Crab Cakes in her natural environment, contemplating
how dangerous does she
do.
want to get? Opal bracelet, very nice.
You love to see it. Meanwhile, El Merkin has found the Ordeals floor. Where is that? I actually don't recognize that color scheme.
For where Ordeals is at? That's a dark blue. That probably means that they're over at... And this is just a stab in the dark. That probably means that they're over at the on-rack area. Wait.
No, wait. Maybe they're in... No?
It's a ship. They have a ship extended open. That would probably be on-rack, I would guess.
That's entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen...
Yeah, I think there's a couple blues. Provoca and on-rack have the two blues, I think.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Spell Zap. Ordeals, apparently that's Titan's East.
Okay, I did miss what was Titan's East, and I did notice that the other side of Titans with the rod block was also blue, so that was just my brain not quite clicking over, but Spell Zap has us covered.
But speaking of on-rack, I don't think we've seen anyone actually take the Oxyale and go peek under on-rack, because we do know where that is.
Well, Crab Cakes is in the air, and Crab Cakes can't, without the canoe, Crab Cakes can't actually go to on-rack.
Well, no. We know where on-rack, like, the town is.
Oh, I see what you're saying. What's underneath the Oxyale block. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is I don't think anyone's actually poked their head down there yet.
100%, I don't think they have.
Anyway, we return an old lady's eyeglasses, and she gives us some camping equipment, so... I mean, it sounds like
She's blind. She's just asking you to take her out to the park so she can hang out for a little while. She doesn't get out very much from that cave. I mean, just be nice.
I mean, I'm just saying, that sounds like... That feels like the kind of thing my mother would do. Like, after losing her glasses, you get it back, and then she's just like, did you make sure to bring some camping equipment for your big vacation?
Wyverns
It's
on
like,
the
yes,
Ordeal
Mom.
Zombie D Trap Tile. I also noticed that we had another black shirt, and also yet another X-Cal floating around. I believe that's the third X-Cal we've seen.
Yeah, if only we had a throw command, because that would be impressive.
Yeah,
She's, meanwhile, gets bullied by ghosts.
There are times like this where you do kind of wish that Edge was in this game. Seeing calls for a Vorpal out in chat from Falconic and Classic Gamer. I'm wondering if we saw one, and I missed it.
We did. On the Sky 4 floor that Crab Cakes is on, there was one in the upper left-hand chest of the 5-chest room.
Nice. Cheese and Air, meanwhile, is seeing another new floor over at Crescent Lake that we haven't explored yet.
He has explored it. There's a dragon armor on this floor.
Ooh.
Because this is Sharknado floor. He also proceeded to get his teeth kicked in by a pack of ghosts.
That's what
Which is
ghosts
why
do.
he is making these very experimental probing movements. He is trying his best to not get jumped by the ghosts again.
And that's the thing, is even when they aren't clamped, ghosts are a menace. You can be high level, and ghosts are a menace. Yeah, there's that dragon.
I was gonna say, on a scale of 1 to Spider-Man, how big a menace?
If you're J. Jonah Jameson, Spider-Man levels of menace.
Ah. But yeah, no, it was one of those things, I think, oh, hello, Marsh Bottom.
When you're here, you have to explore it.
Yeah.
There's actually a decent... Oh, Masamune. Decent chest density turns up the Masamune. And immediately he's like, nope, Masamune, that's going up. We're going to use that now.
Yeah, she immediately flips that on, so...
It's not so bad.
Yeah, no, that's an easy check. You get an opal helmet out of it. No one's ever going to use it, but, you know, it's a thought that counts.
Mad Pony Trap Tile, that's not too dangerous. Especially with the level of gear that she has at this point.
Yep. So, this is going to be a relatively quick... I think Crab Cake's just found 2 sun... No, okay. Yeah, that's right. She's found a sun sword over in Sharknado floor. Crab Cakes finds a sun sword. Also, this does confirm she has a key as well, so...
Yep. Yeah, I believe that's probably our 3rd sun sword as well. Oh, and sun swords apparently are for sale for 20 grand over in Elton.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I was about to say is, we did see sun swords for sale as well. Wow, try saying that 3 times fast.
Sun swords for sale? Yeah, no, once was enough.
Yeah. Anyway, point being, that's actually really good for most of our runners. Just because that's basically, outside of that Mazda that Crab Cakes just turned up, that's the best weapon that you're going to see until we figure out where the tail is, if we see the tail.
It is essentially the best mid-game weapon for any of your characters that can equip it, so your red mages and your fighters. It's a phenomenal weapon when you find it, and the bonuses with the weapon fixes on, it also does increased damage against the undead.
Speaking, though, of good weapons, we did just find a cat claw loose as well.
I for a second I was like, the ruby? I don't see your situation there, Wout, but I'm willing to roll with it.
I mean, okay, look. I'm just saying, you take the ruby, you hook it up to something that can project. You hook it up to a light axe, okay? You put it into something. You grab it with a Zeus gauntlet to get that charge going. Suddenly, you got a weapon that's going to do some damage to some things.
See, this is what I'm saying. When are we going to get weapon forging here in the game? Clearly, it's a missed opportunity.
I mean, every other game has a crafting system. I don't see why we can't add it to Final Fantasy Randomizer. Right. Dev team, get on that.
Apparently, Bahamut is lurking deep at Volcano.
Shallow at Volcano. It's the top layer.
Under the Volcano.
I mean, you know, it's comfy.
Yeah, it's happy. It's a dragon. It probably likes the heat. It's nestled itself in.
I mean, I guess that is the question. Well, okay, no, Bahamut is partially a gold dragon, so he would be comfortable in the heat. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's not a frost dragon or something like that.
Well, I mean, Bahamut's the metallics, not the chromatics. That's Tiamat's job.
But even among metallics, you still had, like, the silver dragon, which was... I believe that one was the closest to, like, a frosty or something from the metallic side of things.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm saying, like, the gold dragon part of Bahamut probably really likes the volcano.
Certainly.
Anyway, we found the best floor of sky here at Swamp Cardia.
For chest density, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, is there just some watery tart handing out legendary swords to every dungeon that asks nicely?
She's got a pile of them. Whatever hero wanders by, she's like, "Yeah, take this one right here. It'll be fine." Murasame, sure, I got one of those.
I declare you the true king of Cardia Swamp, and you the true king of Dwarf Cave, and you the true king of the other side of Dwarf Cave, and you can be the true king of I don't even care where you take this.
We're past the point now. Yeah, as Darren Dries alludes in the chat, it's like an episode of Oprah. You get an Excal, and you get an Excal, and you get an Excal.
Man, I don't want to think about the taxes on being gifted an Excalibur.
Oh, I think we saw it in the shop at one point. Wasn't it like 30K? So you're looking at probably 300, a little short. Probably like, what, 180, 190 in the way of taxes? That's chump change for these guys.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to think about the common person. Like, what is the average wage of a commoner in Canaria?
Oof. Well, I mean, that's a tough call. Are they usually prone to investing in heals and peers? Because you gotta think, they probably do, because otherwise how is that shop staying afloat if it's only 4 warriors buying everything?
I mean, think about how many of those you buy.
Yeah, but you buy them all over the world. It's not like it's a linked set of shops where one guy is at every place. That's, basic capitalism dictates the follower, the town.
Well,
town
but, okay,
have to use it.
okay. Here, no, that is clearly a store brand potion. No matter where you go in the world, heal potions are the same and they cost the same. That is obviously an item shop brand heal potion, which means that the way it's staying in business is basically by
Bulk.
having multiple locations.
Yeah, bulk, wholesale pricing for the shop owners. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Now, the big problem is Big Item Shop is pushing out the honest mom and pop Oasis merchants.
Wow. I've totally missed what was at Marsh Top because we were talking about that.
I don't think there's been anything at Marsh Top. I've been keeping an eye on it, and like, I think there's been like some money and maybe like a potion. Really, game? Is anyone actually keeping count of how many Excaliburs have been in chests? Because I think that might have been like number 4 or 5.
I know I've seen 3 different ones, so that's at least 4. And I think you saw one I didn't see, so let's say 5. Lady in the Lake basically has just bought them in bulk.
Yeah. Okay, here's a fun game, YouTube. Count how many Excaliburs there are and leave it in the comments below. And like, and don't forget to subscribe.
Gaia has Kraken, if I'm not mistaken. So
and Ice Cave had the canoe.
That is all 4 Fiend floors. We know where everyone is at this point.
Yeah, we don't know who they are, but...
Nope. No, 100% don't know. But now that kind of leads me to
75% don't know. We know Carrie's at Lich Floor.
So at that point, what that leads me to think is that your best bet is to try and figure out where you want to grind, do your grind, as quick as you can, and then GTFO out of there and start actually fighting your fiends, because you're pretty much ready to roll.
Yeah, I feel like Crab Cakes is probably in the best position to do that. She's got Temper, she's got Fast, she's found the Maza.
Yep.
Or she's found a Maza.
I mean, Spellzap's right, and I was going to mention, you still don't know where Topher is, but that seems minimal in comparison to your plan right now, because it's like, get the main game cleared out, get your fiends taken care of, get your levels up where they need to be, and then as soon as you find Topher, you're good to roll.
Oh, hello. Okay, so, underneath on rack is an infinite floor.
Collapses in upon itself. It's actually like one of those Mobius floors.
Ah, I see where you're going with that. So, what you're saying is that Sonic the Hedgehog random encounter on that floor.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, I can jive with that. Probably makes running away harder.
Danny, our tracker, incredulously noting, we've only been doing this for 47 minutes. It's felt like a lot more.
Let's see here.
I mean, as soon as they figure out where they're going and what they're doing, they have so much endgame gear, it's not even funny. They can keep their ninja and slap a bunch of armor on that. They can get a fighter, slap a bunch of armor on there.
Okay.
Hell,
okay, Darkmoon, you're leaving out a critical step. Where are they going to get a ninja? We have not seen a tail.
That's besides the point. I'm sure it's lurking somewhere near Bahamut, because everything in this game has been lurking right near where it's needed.
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
So things we haven't pointed out, just in case people are wondering. The ice cave, wherever that was buried, has the canoe, and the Earth 3 floor has the slab.
A slab?
So, a slab! We do know where Melmond is at. We do know where Lufane is at. I believe we've seen both of them, although Lufane is very...
We don't care where Melmond is. The Elf Prince is being watched over by the good Dr. Un.
Ooh, you are correct.
I mean, we also don't care where Melmond is in general, because it's Melmond.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible, and no one likes it.
Yeah, but the big issue is the fact that Lufane was buried, 8 floors deep under one of the splits? It's not exactly an easy trek to get to for a possibly maybe needed item.
Yeah, and I just realized Crab Cakes went all the way to Elfland Castle, got the rod, and then didn't bother talking to Un.
Well,
no, she doesn't have the slab. Did she even have the slab?
I don't see her having it highlighted, but
okay.
Again, even if she had it, does she really want to make that trek?
Okay, Darren Dry's correcting me. It was Ale who found the slab, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got my wires crossed, because, as soon as the slab was found, Crab Cakes was making a beeline over to Elfland.
I hope you're ready to turn stuff into that prince, because he has the mighty buckler.
Hey, okay? If you don't have a pro cape, it's the best shield you can strap to your red mage.
You know, with enough duct tape, you can strap that buckler to anyone.
I don't think that's actually true.
the black mage is unable to wield it because he can't lift his arms.
Look. Just because the black mage opted to min-max doesn't mean we should judge him too harshly.
The munchkin of the game. That's funny.
Just because he sees death through golden eyes doesn't mean that we need to be mean to him.
Well, Will Bloodworth got a particularly spicy plate of nachos, and it wiped him out. That indigestion was murder.
Oh, hey, look! We can now check the Mirage Tower location. That is a chime next to a bottle. We're gonna laugh if Mirage leads to Gaia, by the way. Because that's just gonna be comedy gold.
Crab Cakes is just floating in good items. The rich get richer.
I mean, it's one of those things, once you have moment... I like that Ale still has all of the Excaliburs that he found. I wonder if he's contemplating, end game. Alright, I've upgraded, I've class changed, I'm now carrying 4 fighters into battle.
I mean, in all honesty, as much as we're joking about that, but you class change all your guys into fighters, we've already seen at least 2 dragon armors, and there's opal armors for sale at Canaria, along with ribbons. You've got Fade at level 3 that was accessible, and Ruse, and you've got, 3 Excals and a Maza. I mean, that's actually a nice build-out.
Yeah, and we've been seeing white shirts out the wazoo, so you have that too.
Yeah.
It's not the worst plan.
No.
It's a ridiculous plan, but it's not the worst plan.
I mean, if you can get past the 2 fiends that are guarding Chaos, whichever direction you decide to go on the short Topher floor, it's actually a really solid plan.
That's true, because we're not fighting Chaos today, probably.
Yeah. Whatever alt boss you have there, the Fades, the armor, the Invises, the Ruses, that's really nice.
Yeah, Crab Cakes has 3 white shirts, so yeah, that's literally alright, 2 rounds, and our entire party is invincible.
You get Garland and friends, for example. You have one guy cast Fade, the other 3 decide to do 2 rounds of white shirts, and suddenly you don't even have to worry about anyone except Chaos at that point. It's stupid. I
mean, there's not a lot you have to worry about between ribbons and the white shirt.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest concern would be, of all the alt final bosses, if they get double dragon, because you get a particularly beefy Tiamat and a particularly beefy Carrie at that point, and they can wall up anyone through whatever armor you slap at them.
Well, yeah, that's what the evasion's for.
You just have to be able to get the evasion up in time.
Yeah, but I think you can survive the one round before you get your full stacks.
It'll be interesting to see what we get. But again, a 4-fighter party for the endgame really doesn't sound stupid.
It really doesn't, now that we've had this conversation.
It's ridiculous, and yet I kind of like it.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, the other advantage is pretty much, like, 2 out of the 4 possible boss fights we'll have, that X-Cal is actually going to be good for.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, you go into a Fundead fight with 4 X-Cal wielding...
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a crazy amount of damage you can whip out at that point. I mean, it's just, if you get Warmech or if you get Chaos, it's the only time the X-Cal isn't good. But that's why you just keep one Masamune on one of your fighters.
Yeah.
You found one. Yeah.
Not only that, I think there are Vorpals for sale, and I want to say Elfland, maybe?
Mm-hmm. So there's another good one. There's a Vorpal right there.
Yeah, so it's just like... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if someone on screen decides, you know what? I'm just going to turn everyone to a fighter, and we're just going to, you know, beat Chaos or whatever to death.
Yeah, Raffle stomped through this because who cares at this point? Wow.
Let's see, Astos goes down like a chump, as Astos does.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird to say, but that's the reality that Final Fantasy Randomizer imposes on us.
It is. He's really scary in the main game. Oh, there's an X-Cal. He's really scary in the main game. But... but what?
So that's either 5 or 6 X-Cals.
I think that's 6. But no, he's really scary in the original game because he has all those like status attacks that he can do against you. But once those are randomized off of him, he's basically just a glorified mage.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
But seriously though, YouTube, I want to see someone make a count, and I want to see you all like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell.
Ooh. Very nicely done. Yeah, well, since you mentioned all the likes and comments and subscribes, I want to take a moment to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure you give the 4 runners we have a follow: Will Bloodworth, Crab Cakes, Ale Markin, and Cheese and Air. I believe Crab Cakes is Crab Cakes 2 on Twitch if you're looking for her. Now, someone has been kind enough to pull it up. Thank you, Darren Dries. Meanwhile, also, bear in mind that you can follow myself and my co-commentator, Woat, as well as our 2 trackers, Danny3883 and Darren Dries. So, you know, spread the love around and make sure you give all of us a little bit of love while you're here.
And while you're here, if you are not already following the Speed Gaming family of networks, that's Speed Gaming, Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 3, and all the way up to Speed Gaming 8, the Ocho.
I think I did double check. They don't actually have an 8. They do top out at 6, but they are also, you know, ready to buy an 8 or whatever. If they
I believe that they've camped out on Speed Gaming 8.
Mm-hmm. They don't use it.
It just isn't used yet.
Yeah. Yet.
But it's the principle of the thing that Speed Gaming 8, the Ocho, does technically exist.
I love the fact that that's the joke, too. That's all from that movie Dodgeball, which is hysterical, but bear in mind, but the Ocho has lived on, and it is such a funny joke.
Yep. Danny exemplifying the virtue of
modesty.
Humility.
Yeah. She says she sucks at this game. She really doesn't. She's quite a good player. And she's also the most fabulous tracker we have in this entire community. Really, follow Danny just because of how good a tracker she is. She's fantastic. Will Bloodworth skipping out on the steak and wings platter.
Yeah, and Vince Easter reminding us that there's also the multilingual Speed Gaming channels. So, if you have a language of preference, and that language is Portuguese, Spanish, German, or French, there's a Speed Gaming for you, too. Anyway, the point being, follow everything, follow everyone. Just, you know what? Find someone today and just follow them.
The follows are free. Why not spread them around and give everyone a little bit of love?
Just to emphasize, on the internet. Do not actually go find someone and follow them. That is stalking, and that is technically a crime.
I don't think it's technically a crime. It is a crime.
I don't think it's actually a crime to just follow somebody. I think it's if they feel in danger that it becomes a crime.
Oh, okay. Motivated shadowing. That's what it is. So we have a gold bracelet lurking in the Canaria key locked area. So that's a gold and a pro ring, or a gold and an opal you don't have to buy elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things until we find our princess. That's about the only thing of value in Canaria. Like, that castle is just kind of like... they obviously are on their last leg as a people. And speaking of the princess...
Is that the... I think we may have just found our second opal bracelet.
Oh, the, Badmen have lit 3. That's great.
Crabcakes has found Topher, so now we really do know where everything is that we actually absolutely care about. It's just a matter of finding a grind, finding tiles, and deciding when you're ready to go take on Topher at this point. And really, it's deciding when you're ready to take on 3 bosses at this point, because there's nothing else really in Topher.
Yep. So...
And as Darren Dress reminds us, getting your 4 knights over in Canaria.
Yeah, have we actually found the tail? Like, that's the only problem with that plan. Otherwise, it's, you're really pulling for Fun Dead, because your options are that one Maza and that ludicrous number of, sun swords you have.
But, you know, it's a short Topher. I think I might, like, if I couldn't find the tail, I might still be willing to take the risk on it. Because if you get the Fun Dead, you're actually pretty good to go.
See, you say that, and then you remember that Phantom with 400% clamping can happen. Like, I'm sorry, with the Fun Dead, I don't fear the Liches, I fear the Phantoms.
But again, as soon as you get, as you said earlier, as soon as you get those ruse too. As soon as you get your casts off for your evade, they're a lot less scary. You just have to be able to get them off in time. If you get good turn order, you're good to go.
Okay, so there is another opal bracelet, so that's nice.
2 of those. That's useful endgame gear that doesn't require a tail.
And we found a power bonk at some point.
Also pretty.
Don't ask me where we found it, because I sure don't know, but we found it somewhere. And it looks like Crabcakes has decided that she's tired of not having any lit orbs. I can think of no other reason that she's heading down into the Marsh Volcano.
She's got good levels, she's got good mid-game gear. I think it's time to try and find out where all the fiends are lurking and see if she can start taking these guys out.
Okay, before we get into this fight, though, I just want to shout out to Classic Gamer 76, who pointed out that we either found that power bonk in a chest, or someone gave it to us.
She's grinding. She made a beeline straight for this R-Hydra set. I would not be surprised if she grinds here for a bit, since she has the Ice 3s and enough health to survive them.
I mean, that's not a bad plan. Hydras are...
good experience.
Juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are delicious.
Yeah.
That is, she never opened this box.
Possible. And now she has the cube, which she doesn't need, but she has it.
Okay, she's never...
more experience.
Yeah, she literally had just never opened that box.
But she's doing her walking grind, and I mean, again, I wouldn't hate sitting here and grinding just a little bit. You still... Mid-20s can be bad for 400% clamp alt final. And she already got like a 500 point EXP boost there on that pack. Just from that one key item.
Alright, let's find out who is chilling down here today. I mean, Darren pointing out that we may never know if there are more ribbons or excals in this seed. And I think the answer is, this sounds like something you should look into, since you already have the seed generated. And hello, Kraken.
Oof. But with enough white shirts and ruses, I think you can do it.
Yeah, no, this is probably fine.
Red Mage should. Oh, Red Mage looks like he's already going to have his full buff up.
He's going to be one short. He got a ruse off. But yeah, with that white shirt, that'll do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So
218 for that thief. Another white shirt. His Red Mage is fully up. Get a Brack out. Ineffective. Beast survives the first hit. Brack out. Ineffective. Another white shirt coming out. Third Brack breaks him into pieces. Kraken is down for crab cakes, and in a moment, there she goes. She is the first to have a crystal lit on the board.
yeah, it only took an hour and 3 minutes.
Which for this crazy confetti seed, that's not bad. Did she already? Oh, here, there we go. I was about to ask because it looks like one of our trackers hit 2 orbs at once, but they got it corrected. So there we go.
Yeah. So let's see.
And I mean, that's the thing about the early bosses, is the fact that you feel like they can be quite scary, but then you remember that, you know, Kraken and Tiamat can be taken out with... Oh, power box for sale there.
Yeah,
Kraken
okay.
And Tiamat can be taken out... Huh?
Yeah, no, I'm just... Okay, so power bonks and white shirts for sale in Melmond. So,
Yeah.
there is your in-game...
Your in-game
right
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here, have a power bonk, have enough white shirts, and you're good now. Who needs armor or weapons? And high lock to warp at Saber and Quad X for sale in Provoca.
But no, what I was saying was the fact that with the... Damn it, what was I saying? I had it again until then we started speaking. Oh yeah, with Brack, 2 of the scary bosses at the first round of bosses, Tiamat and Kraken, can actually be dealt with fairly effectively without actually having to fight them. You can just brack them a few times and the odds are in your favor that soon enough, they'll fall down.
Mm-hmm. So, Provoca also played host to Life 2 and, well, A-Rub, but I'm like the only person who gets really happy about, A-Rub.
It can be useful in certain instances. That Life 2, though, is really nice.
Yeah, A-Rub's not very useful in this seed, just because, you don't need the defense.
So yeah, as Darren Dry, as our tracker points out, Cece is making her play for the water orb, whoever may be defending it. We know it's not Kraken, and we know it's not Carrot.
So,
So it's either a speed bump, or it's Tiamat, who's basically a glass cannon, because they'll be broken to pieces the second CC can.
Alright, and
it's
it's Lich.
Yup.
So, how long will Lich last?
Well, he survived 4 hits for 71 damage. He's actually... Oh, Blaze! Which isn't as scary as it could be, because there's 4 ribbons.
Yeah, like I was going to say, Well, I'm sure some members, excuse me, of our community might be slightly traumatized. A, crab cakes is not one of them, and B, this is good exposure therapy for them.
The trick with Lich is the fact that at 400% clamped, he has, in theory, the ability to be scary. But Lich 1 and Lich 2, no matter how high they roll, have such a bad base starting set of, like, health and everything else that even if they're clamped up a lot, they can only go so far.
Okay, Darkmoon,
Yes.
Refresh my memory on this. Okay,
yes.
Okay, well, 2 things. One, I just realized there were 2 Excaliburs in Ice Cave. But B...
Oh, wow.
Hightail in the armory. I'm gonna get my thought out eventually. Okay, that background on Cheesinator's screen, the Sea Shrine.
Mm-hmm.
What locations have that? Like, is that the background that happens if you're digging out under Onrak?
I believe it is, yes. But it's the Onrak location, not Onrak town.
Okay, so Provoca did turn out to be under Onrak.
Okay.
The location, not the town.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
No, that's great.
Yeah, Asher is pointing out, though, that
Ooh, zombie.
Lich 2 at least is, like, if you have to show Lich 2 at least a little bit of respect, that might suggest that we do have fun dead.
Mm-hmm. So
Um,
zombie Ds are the elemental tile here in the Earth floor. They seem to be kind of beefy, which is honestly how zombie Ds often roll. They can be quite beefy, even when you least expect it. But they are decent experience if you can get them down. This is already leading into the second round, though. I'm not sure they're a very good grind tile. We've seen better.
yeah. Anyway, Crab Cakes has now killed Carrie, and now is just going to go light the air ore, because
Yep.
she should be able to deal with Warmech at this point, even with clamping.
Yeah, I think she may lose a party member, but I think she'll be able to get through that one. And then Tiamat, as long as she has some Brax to go with, or if she's wise, leaves for a second, and then comes back with the full party, Tiamat's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. Don't think of it as losing a party member. Think of it as gaining extra experience.
The real treasure was the friends we lost along the way.
I mean, it would be nice if we could just leave them in a box instead of having to drag them everywhere.
Crabcake's continuing to reset out of unrunnable encounters she doesn't want to deal with, because I can't blame her. Ooh, gets the free run there on that Image Spectre pack. And yet more wizards that she resets out of. One day Ice Cave will be nice to you, CC. One day.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was nice to her earlier. I think she's been down here to know.
Yeah.
So she at least has at some point made the power cycle. Or not the power cycle, you know what I mean.
Yeah. She's managed to get through the encounter scumming to get to what she wants.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad
Here,
at least one of us speaks the language that we're using.
Gamer. Meanwhile, Cheesenator checked the TFC and got, I believe, a cabin out of it. TFC, once again, being so productive.
Well, that's why we call it that friendly chest.
Indeed.
Alright. So we've got power bonks, we've got ruses, we've got white shirts.
2 rounds of white. A fast on the fighter.
Who immediately gets punched by Warmech.
Yup. 3 rounds of white.
Ah, CC going straight for those always hitting lock spells.
That's the 4th round of white.
And that's 4 hits for 4 damage.
Not much damage there. I'm not sure if she got any criticals, though, so... But she's starting to go on the power bombs at this point.
And throwing some tempers onto the fighter as well.
Temper, lock, get the buffs up. 3 hits, 3 damage from the thief. Warmech is whipping it air.
So I think that's a net damage of 1 point to Warmech so far.
Yeah. 2 more tempers on the fighter. Fighter comes out swinging for 10 hits for 890. That's much better.
Yeah, okay, that's a nice crit. See,
Another
that's about
847 on top of that.
Yeah, it looks like about 1,700 damage on that Warmech so far.
Warmech may have a spell list, but Warmech doesn't want to use it. He has a high frequency to hit. Another 900, I think, there for the fighter.
Alright, 2,600, so... definitely on the higher end, and... Okay, that Warmech had somewhere between 2,700 and 4,000 HP. How much? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? She smacked that one good on that last one, sent Warmech flying straight out of the park right there. That is all she wrote for that Warmech.
Yeah, Asher, as a quick correction, it's not 300% clamped, it's 400% clamped.
Fighter took a nasty hit there, but she's already switching over to the Brax.
I was gonna say, I don't think she actually healed that fighter, so that was just like 150 HP. It's fine.
Tiamat's already starting to miss on those white shirts. And she is just going straight Brack all the time right now.
I mean,
5th cast.
magic resistance never scales, so why not?
Yep. 5th cast was all that was needed. Tiamat's broken to pieces. CC, knowing where Topher is in go mode.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the tools she needs, I guess. She feels like she's got the tools she needs. Or something roughly equivalent to it, so...
She's got opals, she's got golds, she's got power bonks, she's got white shirts, she's got ribbons, she's got sun swords, she's got a Mazamoon. At this point, it feels like it's an inevitability that she's going to be able to get through this sooner or later. I've seen her play harder seeds than this, and has managed to get through them. It's... yeah.
Yeah, that's why CC is kind of terrifying to race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like to, I like to point out that she is technically mortal. She does make mistakes.
She has been beaten.
Yeah, she can lose. It's just, you have to get on her level to do it. But speaking of getting on levels, she is on Chaos's level.
Mm-hmm. CC found a Pro Cape up in the bonus short Topher chest. CC skipped it because, in all honesty, with the armor build-out she has absolutely no room for that Pro Cape. No reason to use it.
Who needs Absorb when the enemy can hit really, really hard if you haven't gotten your defenses up yet?
Yeah, that Black Mage kind of took a crack right there.
A crack
Not
in
like
what?
A spell crack, but yeah. Just a really powerful whack, but it's bad enough. Oof. Another 158 to the Red Mage. I think the Red Mage has life too, so she really doesn't want another hit to land on him.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Well, when she's whipping out 1200 damage like that.
Exactly. It'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing's broken.
Kraken casts fast.
Okay, there might be a little something to worry about. But it's fine. It's fine. The Kraken's dead.
It is a good thing he didn't do that sooner, because those 1300 damage points that the fighter just whipped out was good enough. Now, let's go see who's next on the list. And yeah, she had at least life 1, so that was enough to bring that Black Mage back.
Yeah, I think she just went ahead and filled out the Red Mage's spell list with that ludicrous amount of black magic.
Mm-hmm. Actually... no, that was the Black Mage I was looking at. White shirts coming out. White shirts are coming out. It's a fashion show here with all the white shirts. And a nuke! Lovely!
Hey, everyone survived. It's
They did.
fine. Nothing's wrong.
So while we've been watching this and we see her slowly taking on these carries, Ale is the first to actually class change.
Yeah, I think he's the only one who actually found the tail. So,
Tracker is saying Will Bloodworth found it as well. But I can't tell because of the way that his characters are colored whether or not he actually class changed. It's very hard to tell with his sprite set.
I don't think he's class changed yet.
Okay. Yeah, Tracker's confirming that. Thank you very much.
Alright, Crab Cakes is through carry 2.
All things considered, those two fiends were really not that bad.
I think it's the stupid amount of damage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's a hideous amount of damage coming off of these guys. She needs a pack that she can manage. Like, best case scenario for her right now, before we see anything, is Garland and Friends, I think.
Yeah, I think Chaos and the Garlettes might be the...
Oof.
Oh, this is delightful.
Oh.
This is just the most wonderful thing I could imagine.
Ooh. The Evil Man, though, is not packing any amount of heat. That was 22 damage against that beat. And they're already starting to miss with just one white shirt out.
I mean, it's all fun and games until the Evil Man's just like, hey, so who likes thunder?
Yep. So far, not much. Warmech did come out swinging, though. But we saw that 4 white shirt casts should be enough to stop these Warmechs from doing anything.
Also, if you're just joining us from Speed Gaming 2, welcome, welcome. I would explain what's going on right now, but quite frankly, I don't know if it would help.
Well, and we're right at the end of a particularly rough bit of the seed. We want to focus right now on the battle that Crabcakes is in, as those fades go across and aren't able to kill anything yet. But at this point, it looks like just about every single one of these monsters in this pack is slap happy, and every single one of them is missing, which is what you want to see.
Well, with all of that white shirt that she's spamming, I'm not surprised.
No.
But yeah.
Second fade starting to take out these evil men. One more fade round, and that should finish them off.
And meanwhile, she's going to continue to go ahead and buff her melee. Make sure that, well, so much for buffing her melee.
She still got the red mage.
Yeah, they still got their power bonks, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there goes the evil men. Now her turn order's going to get better. Starting to temper up from the red mage.
Yeah, it's just kind of a matter of...
Big hit got through the evade right there.
Yeah?
Cure 4.
Yeah?
Or Cure 3.
Yeah, I don't think we actually saw Cure 4. I think it had to have been at Gaia, and I don't think we ever actually even found Gaia.
It was level 4 elf, but it was in a white mage only spot, I believe.
Ah. Yeah, that would do the job.
Mm-hmm. So far, it doesn't seem like this particular war mech has a very high crit chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a matter of... okay, that's bad.
Or never mind.
See, the best part here is that Crabcakes is going to see that you jinxed it.
I mean, it wasn't a high crit chance, it was just high enough.
So, everyone, I'm gonna need you to join me for this one. Rudy! 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 Rudy!
I mean,
Rudy!
She's getting there. Hold and pray is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, if you can get these war mechs locked in a missing loop...
Look down. She goes for another buff.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, it all just comes down to what connects. And, wow, she's...
for the fourth time.
I think she's gonna try and kill this war mech in 1 or 2 swings.
834. Another wallop for 527. And then...
I have no idea how much damage this thing has taken.
Well, because I missed how much the fades were doing to it. I think it's 1500. That was about $2,000, and she has finished at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 41 seconds. Crabcakes is the first to finish this really weird seed. GG's to Crabcakes.
Absolutely, and she will be joining us in chat. Crabcakes is not a fan of getting on the mic, so...
No, she doesn't like to chat with us. But GG's to her. Very well done, especially for a seed that we were afraid was going to take until like 4 a.m. She dusted it in an hour and one.
Okay, point of order, Darkmoon. It's not actually over yet. Crabcakes is the only one who's finished. We've had...
Crabcakes is done. We're good, right? Crabcakes is done.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just going to point out, Crabcakes is done. We only have one runner who's lit an orb on screen.
I know, right?
And emphasis on an orb. So, now that we kind of have a moment, hi everyone who joined us from Speed Gaming 2 and who stuck around. This is Final Fantasy Randomizer. To quote a luminary of the community, it's not always like this. This is a...
worse.
Darkmoon, shush! Anyway, now this is one of our weeklies, and this is actually using our challenge seed flag set, which is why nothing makes sense and everything is terrible.
Yeah, this is a particularly fun seed. I believe I described it earlier, and you appreciate it so much. It's a confetti seed. Everything is mixed up and just tossed everywhere, and you just kind of wander around and pick up the pieces until you have a party that can finish the game.
Yeah, so right now we have 3 runners on screen who are still going. One of them has opted to take 2 party members because he's a maniac. and the other two have been slowly working their way through the seed, with a more normal-looking party composition. The big thing that you need to understand is every enemy in the game has between its normal stats and either twice its normal stats or 4 times its normal stats. There's some nuance to it, but that's all that matters. Which means that every fight is horrifying. Or potentially horrifying. Some of them are okay.
Yeah, bosses are clamped 100 to 400%. And I think, yeah, the law of averages dictates that you're probably going to get most stats for the boss somewhere in the 250% range or so on that. So most of them, as you said, are just going to be horrifying.
Yeah, well, it's also one of those things where there's different scaling depending on each stat. Like, when we say 400%, that's kind of a shorthand. There's some complication to it. You can, if you're really that interested, the whole randomizer is open source. You can go look it up on the GitHub.
Yeah, the short answer is the fact that there are a few stats that can't quite max all the way, just because we want to make these fights, somewhat finishable. And every single stat is rolled independently of the others for the 100 to 400% clamp, because all the stats just shuffle themselves or randomize themselves individually. So you can have a boss that has, near max attack, but, absolutely no evade and no health, because it's just random for each stat. So sometimes the bosses can be horrifying, and sometimes they are laughably funny.
Yeah, but when we say clamped, that means that at best, they're just like they are in the vanilla game. And if you've never played Final Fantasy I, that's not great. That's still terrible.
It is. The one saving grace is the fact that all the spells and skills and most of the stuff the bosses can do is shuffled amongst themselves. And whether or not they're going to cast or use physical text or anything else is also, randomized. So, some of the edge can sometimes be taken off of particularly nasty fights. Sometimes.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get a, giant squid that proceeds to punch all of the blood out of you.
Yep, rando's gonna rando sometimes.
I mean, I'm not even sure that's really randoing. I think that's just what Kraken does.
So I'm looking right now, and one of the differences between ale and crab cakes is that ale only has 2 white shirts. And I'm assuming those are the 2 that he actually found, because I know I saw 2 in chests.
Yeah, I think...
Warmack is...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Warmack is a little more likely to get through the defense right now, as long as there's only those 2 white shirt casts out. He's getting better turn order right now. He's already up to 3. Although, again, Warmack.
Yeah, Warmack. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that punch-happy Warmack is, that's a problem.
Yeah, if Ale's smart, he's going to remember the white shirts are over a Melmond, and before he goes into Short Topher, he's going to make sure to pick up a couple more of them, just in case, on the off chance, he has to deal with something nasty like another Warmack.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we know he does, but still.
Yeah.
There's another ribbon there on that sky floor. That's 5 at least.
Yeah, there were a lot of, oh, that's bad.
Oh, that's very bad. That's exceedingly bad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate right there. That dead knight is not great.
No.
Yeah,
I would say that's arguably very not good.
Yeah, that's definitely on the negative end of the positive-negative scale. But yeah, now it's one of those things where in Final Fantasy I, for those who are unaware, you often, spells don't get better or worse with level, whereas melee does. So generally speaking, with high HP, high defense, high whatever bosses, you want to hit them with a sword to end things quickly. Especially when said boss is resistant to everything, and you've already burned through all of your non-elemental magic.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
I mean, credit, this battle is still going on. There's Ale is still chipping away.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, before his party went down, he, I think, had laid at least 2,000 damage on this war mech, so there is a non-zero chance that this war mech's sitting at, like, 2,900 HP, because Crabcakes is the only one we've seen actually kill war mech, and I would remind you that she went from having done 2,700 or so damage to 4,000, which is the upper limit.
So he's desperate to try Banes. I'm hoping he thought to put a sword of some kind on his red mage, because he may come down to tinging off the war mech until the war mech is dead.
Yeah, Crabcakes is one of those things where you hit, like I said, you hit like 2,600, and then you hit war mech for like 1,300, and so it's just like, we have no idea how much health the war mech has, except it's a lot.
And then he had to reset out, which is tragic. On this third dive, I'm kind of wondering if he's going to move one of his party members to the back.
I think he has to. Like, it's one of those things, I think you put... I think you put that fighter in the back row. You put that black mage in the second slot, and you just hope you get the turn order necessary to get a fast off before war mechs.
Mm-hmm. Not much else you can do at that point.
True, you would have been paying attention to HP during the actual boss fight. Crabcake's pointing out that she did kill 3 of them, so... Alright, so basically, like, when you wall up that war mech in front of Tiamat, you basically, like, overkilled it by a good 1,200 HP.
Yeah. That was overkill damage at that point. I think the other 2 war mechs later in the game felt it as well.
Yeah, probably. But yeah. Nah, Ale continuing to keep that fighter and the ninja up front. So, this is an interesting part of kind of the strategy of Final Fantasy I Randomizer, where you have to figure out which party members can you afford to you know, basically throw at the boss so that the useful ones may live.
Well, and there goes that knight again. Warmech is taking no prisoners.
Well, yeah, I mean, where would he keep them?
I mean, there's that nice room at the top that Tiamat barely uses.
Well, yes, but you know how, you know, your Fortress Conquering Dragons roll. You know, she doesn't want to share.
There's those rooms at the bottom of Sky that, the bottom area of Sky 3 floor that no one uses. There's just some computer monitors and a hole there.
But there's no Sky 3 floor, Dark Moon. The floor above Tiamat is Ice Cave 1, and the floor above Ice Cave 1 is... I don't even remember.
It's a floor.
It's a place. It has walls, there's probably a ceiling.
Ugh.
It's probably not rated for prisoners. Speaking of prisoners, I think Ale Markin is trapped in this
infinite loop.
Nightmare.
It is an infinite loop of pain.
He will never reach the truth.
So welcome to the Warmech Kills Everyone simulator. I am your host, Darkmoon EX, joined by Wout and Commentary.
Hi everyone, I'm Woat, and yeah, this is basically why we generally don't use challenge seeds for our weeklies, because challenge seeds not designed to be finished particularly quickly. Alright, and we are back to Warmech. Wow, that knight has 640 HP, and that Warmech is like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, it's doing somewhere between 400 and 500 damage each. Whoa, there you go. doing 400 or 500 damage to the knight each time it hits him, and then the knight just can't recover from that at that point.
So does anyone remember when Elmarkin had a red mage? Because I think that war mech just killed the red mage so hard that it's not going to revive on reset.
No, I think he actually has to go buy a new one from the tavern, because that one just got destroyed.
Mom, can I have a red mage? We have a perfectly fine red mage at home.
I'm not buying you another one until you learn to not break the one you have.
See, the irony here is if he'd moved his knight down to that third slot, it would have been deleted, probably.
And we'd be cracking jokes now about Warmech knew. He knew that fighter was standing there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I do give Elmarkin credit. He is confusing the enemy right now by not having a white mage. Because as we all know, everything in this game goes after the white mage.
Hey!
There is nothing in the... Yay! GG Elmarkin!
No, don't do this again!
Wait, what? No. Ale, turn around. That is an easy done.
Oh, God.
It's an easy walk back out.
It was a very easy walk.
You have a level 33 fighter now. Nothing in Ice Floor 1 is a threat.
Oh my god. Hey, SVJ is putting in the work right there, taking all the hits from that Tiamat.
I mean, as Will Bloodworth
out.
would say, you only need one. In this case, that would be HP.
SVJ has been hanging out in text chat watching his namesake go after Warmech and destroy him. And I mean, SVJ's still on his knees. He's still alive.
Yep.
Getting the lockout, trying to get more damage in, because that is a very evadey Tiamat.
That is an exceedingly evadey Tiamat.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, she also can't take a punch if you can hit her.
And starting to throw out the Banes, which I believe, for Tiamat is somewhere around, what, 20-23% to hit?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Brack, but it's still, you know, you're still likely to land it.
Yeah, 5 or 6 casts and you should be good to go. If you don't just whack her down by that point.
Alright, and Elmarkin is through. Now has a level 34 knight, and still has to go light 2 more orbs.
I think you got the tough one out of the way, though, right there.
Yeah, I guess. He's not going to be happy when he sees those 2 war mechs, though.
And yes, as SVJ points out, his ninja went 2 for 2 on those rounds. Killed both the bosses.
Hey, I keep telling people you can't sleep on the ninja slash thief.
Mm-mm. No.
Especially now that now that it's buffed.
Yeah, the thief buffs fix a lot of stuff from the thief ninja. We during the Duck Derby, the last game of it, the ducks that weren't in contention to win, we all played with a spicy party mix that had 2 white mages and a thief in it. And let me tell you, by the end of that game, when I was going up against the bosses that were lurking at the end of the short Topher, that thief came in real handy. Slap a katana on him and he was good to go.
Oh yeah. So at some point during that whole mess, Will Bloodworth lit his Earth Orb. So
very nicely done, Will. He fought through for that one. I saw him diving over and over trying to get through Undead Pack that kept stunning him. So congratulations to Will for getting his first orb on the board.
Yeah, meanwhile, Cheeseinator, Lich is already dead.
Yeah,
Cheeseinator found Lich, and then Lich died.
Yep, Lich was scared to death at that point.
But how can you kill that? Which never really stood a shot. So yeah, Cheesinator very quickly picking up some orbs as Will Bloodworth is following suit. So we actually have a bit of a race going on now.
We do.
Because basically, in a moment, two of our runners are going to have 2 orbs lit, and our third runner is going to have a 3rd orb lit. And yeah, it's just going to be a matter of... Go ahead.
Yeah, it's what we observed earlier, which is the fact that very quickly we found all 4 Fiend dungeons, and really the only thing keeping them from Go mode was knowing where Topher was lurking. Second they found Topher, Go was on the table, and they just had to get their party comps in place. CC, being a machine, was just the first to be able to do it.
Yeah. Now, some would argue that it's unfair to allow a task to participate against real-time runners, but personally, we in the Final Fantasy community believe that, you know what? Robots are people too. Robots are people too.
CC Taskbot OP, please nerf.
I don't think that you can nerf CC.
No. If she was nerfable, we would have seen it in the spring tournament, where I think she only lost, like, what, 1 game total or something?
Yeah.
Maybe not even that.
No, I think she did lose at least a couple of matches, but anyway. Alright, so Ale has his water orb lit, Will has his earth and water orbs lit, and Cheese has his earth and water orbs lit. So, the big thing standing in Will and Cheese's path at the moment is they still have to deal with Warmech.
Classic Gamer confirming that CC lost exactly 1 game in all of her matches total for spring tournament 2019. Yeah. Crazy good run she had there.
Yeah, it was in the finals too, she's confirming, so... Alright, so Ale about to get his Earth Orb lit, and then he'll be heading into Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, for him, the dominoes pretty much fell the second he got the Air Orb lit, because he got the worst of it out of the way there. Even if somehow Carrie manages to wipe his party here, which... possible but unlikely, he can just... The dive here to get back to Carrie is really not that long at all.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we finally have our second place finisher. Rafe Hates Caleb finished in second at about an hour and 40 minutes.
One of our off-stream runners, GG to Rafe Hates Caleb. Caleb in the community. Don't call him Rafe, he doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Or call him Rafe, he doesn't like that.
Dark Moon, don't encourage it. Lead by example. By calling him that.
By totally calling him that, yeah.
Second place, finished 20 minutes behind first place. So, yeah.
It honestly does not surprise me. CC is very good at this, and for all our talk about what we would do and wouldn't do, that alt final boss, knowing how bad Warmech can be, is actually pretty atrocious. Her build was really good, but it was a very specific build that just happened to work in that particular instance. If those evil men and Warmechs had been spell happy at all, that party could have easily wiped over and over again.
Yeah, and Caleb joining us in chat. Yeah, actually, I did notice that too. Caleb pointing out that he never used the taverns. I don't think we've really seen... The only person I've seen use the taverns was Cheese swapping a white mage for a red mage in Provoca.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what was I going to say? Words. Yeah, no, it is one of those things where, like... and that is a feature, that, we haven't had a chance to discuss because no one's really used it. The seed does also feature our Tavern mode, which allows you to change out the classes of any of your party members at excuse me, any time, and basically re-rolls their stats in accordance with their new class. You still have to go rebuy all of your spells and whatnot, but...
Yeah. We did talk about maybe swapping a party out to 4 fighters, so we touched upon it, but Tavern mode is a lot of fun. I just think with the party comps that most of these players took, that tavern mode in this particular seed wasn't really necessary. Although CC did confirm. She did confirm in chat that if the end boss had been more spell happy, she probably would have gone to grab a white mage, presumably so she can get the cure forms.
Yeah. Question from Caleb: Damon find Mazza? Yeah, there was a Mazza in Cave Bottom. Where was Marsh Cave Bottom? I have no idea.
No, that was mid-game, and I totally missed where it was.
Yeah, it was in that link chest that you can open from the top left corner of Bottom Marsh. Why do I remember these things and not, like, what the flags actually are? And Classic Gamer pointing out that apparently Kraken 2 had Swirl. I don't think we saw that on CC's side.
We didn't. He was a very punch-happy Kraken. Apparently, his chance to cast spells, I would probably peg somewhere around, like, 15-20%.
St. Von Jester very sad over being the victim of the Swirl. Swirl being one of those non-elemental attacks that the Ribbon is absolutely useless against. Nuke being another one.
I'm really hoping his Red Mage has life, because he's not going to want to go into this battle with Ninja on the ground.
Yeah, he does.
There we go.
I don't think he ever found Provoca. Because that Red Mage has no level 2 magic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, Cure 4 is going to be nice for the battle itself, but at the same time, well, that was actually at level 4, you have the heal pots. Life 2 would have been nice, but you've got heal pots, and you can't exactly take them with you once the seed is over.
But Dark Moon, what about all of the heals I bought?
Ale took a very long look at what he just has to face, having seen all of those nasty war mechs before. You could tell that there was a deep pause going, crap. Ooh, and this party has taken a lot more damage from these evil men than Crab Cakes did.
Well, it's one of those things, Ale kind of went for a more offense-heavy first round, and so only got that one white shirt off.
Ouch.
And this is why it's very important to get a bunch of white shirts off.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, he is heading back to Melmond. I suspect this is a time to empty out my armor inventory and purchase all white shirts.
All white shirts all the time. Yeah, CC confirming what Rafe Hates Caleb was asking, and of course what we observed as well. It's very possible that Warmack could have had a bunch of spells, but his script dictated he didn't use any of them. Cheese is, by the way, 3 orbs up at this point, headed on towards his final orb, which I think is the Warmack guarded Tia floor. Meanwhile, Will Bloodworth is up to 2, and he's starting to do his spell buys for his 2 party members.
God, Will getting... we're... No matter what's going on, I'm going to have to keep an eye on Will getting into that, any fight involving Warmech.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, he might be able to get past the one Warmech. Might. But that Warmech and Friends party that we're seeing, he may have to buy a couple meat shields for that at that point.
Hi, welcome to the party! Alright, what are we doing? Well, okay, you're gonna hold these t-shirts, and then you're going to stand right over there, and I just need you to wave the t-shirt in the air. Okay, why? Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Just wave the t-shirt. It's just a rally towel, okay?
Yeah. I mean, for Will Bloodworth's best... No. For Will Bloodworth's best strategy would be... No, not the very anti-Will Bloodworth strategy, but the best strategy would be for him to upgrade a couple of them to fight his nuns to fighters, slap white shirts on them, and then go grind them up to the mid-30s on a decent grind tile before diving in. Because otherwise, this could be quite painful for him.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, no, 100% it's not. That's not how Will B rolls. I'm just saying that would be the right strategy to do.
Yeah, so for those of you who aren't familiar with Mr. Bloodworth here, Will is infamous in the community for his tendency to roll with very minimalistic parties. Every spring tournament, we have a bonus stream wherein Will basically takes one character instead of 4 of the same class.
Oh, by the way, Kraken decided that he didn't like that red mage, and then followed it up with another party member dead, and Aelmarkin immediately decided, nope, I'm backing out again.
Also, I just realized that Cheese has a black belt now.
Is that what that is? I can't tell when they're using the tricolor palettes who has what or anything.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, is that his upgraded thief? And I'm watching punching for 12 hits, and it's like,
oh,
no,
yeah.
that's a black belt.
No, that's a black belt. A black belt just doing a casual 1300 damage.
As you do. And yet it's the fighter with a 139 HP hit that drops that war mech.
Kill steal?
Look.
It's a cooperative game, I know.
Yeah, no, they're a party, they're a team, it's not a competition. Not until the fall when we eventually have the adversarial co-op tournament. Which is not actually what we're planning to do for the fall, but it could be what we do for the fall. Join the Discord. Alright, and Cheese has lit his 4th orb.
Yeah, I just imagine that the fighter and the black belt in his party are going back and forth like the elf and the dwarf in Lord of the Rings, whose names I can't remember. Even though
Gimli and Legolas.
Thank you. But yeah, just like the fighter's like 1 and black belt's like 30.
No. The black belt takes down Tiamat, and well, that's not what happened. But that Tiamat gets bracked, and the fighter's just like, that only counts as 1.
30 pieces, 1 kill.
Let's see. Ale, meanwhile, trying to make his way back through the Fiendry fights here in Short Topher. And Will, still working on that 3rd orb. I think Will just hasn't actually seen... oh, okay, this is clever. Using that deep Elfland to get some fights here in Mirage Tower to gain some XP when he's literally right outside an inn.
Right outside in. That's a really smart play right there. Find the fights that are worth fighting. I like that. Ooh, vampires are pretty weak.
Yeah, no, I am absolutely gonna have to steal that the next time I play a Deep Town Seed.
Yeah, that's a super smart strategy. I'd never thought of that.
I guess this is why we're scrubs and commentating while everyone else is actually good at the game.
Well, it's like how I learned to play the randomizer. I'll just watch other people play it for a while, then I'll steal all their strategies.
Yeah, unfortunately, then you have someone like Crab Cakes who's just like, yeah, my strategy is I'm just good at the video game.
I'm just so good at it, who cares? So, in the background, while we watch these 3 runners try and get their way through this seed, we had Shofu Komachi finish in 3rd place on the challenge seed at 1 hour, 51 minutes, 38 seconds. GG to show. Bear in mind, that's a full 11 minutes behind Rafe Hates Caleb, so you can kind of see the distribution we're getting on the wins here. We have had a couple forfeits. What?
You're not supposed to tell them we can see into the future.
Oh, man.
I'm just joshing, like it's just we see so a little behind the scenes peek for those who are unaware. The SRL room obviously is ahead of the restream because that's how time and broadcast and delays work. So, we usually can see who's finished well before they actually finish. But then we lie to you because we want to keep the drama high.
We lie for the drama for the people on screen. It doesn't matter when they can't see the people.
Well, yes, but it's about preserving the illusion. Speaking of illusions, Elmarkin is back at Warmech and Friends, and is currently throwing up illusions around his fighter in a desperate attempt to stay alive long enough to murder everything. Which I think he at least got enough white shirts up to maybe have a chance.
Well, not against the evil men, yes. Not against the war mech. He's got... Ugh.
I think you might have spoke too soon on that.
Yeah, that one good evil man whack, and that...
So she's opting to go right, it looks like, because I don't think we've seen Tia and Carrie on screen yet, although Caleb did fill us in a little bit on what to expect from this side. Like, I think he mentioned that nuke right there that Tia threw up.
Very toasty dragon there from the chromatic dragon they're fighting. But he does have a one-punch man, so assuming he can get the punches off might not really matter.
I think that's a one-punch woman, but point taken.
Fire 3 behind. I mean, it's medieval times. If you're gonna wander around in a skirt and long hair, you could be a guy or a girl. We're not judging.
No. I mean, either way, like his black belt is mad cute.
Oh, yeah. No, ripped. That is a swole black belt right there.
And cute. Like, I'm just saying, that sprite's cute.
Lord Fizzlebeef asking how deep Topher is. 3 floors deep. Not that bad.
It's not too bad.
No.
It's just, you have this nice, long, spiraling inward walk, and the next floor down... I'm not seeing what he keeps resetting to. Does something have death touch on this floor?
I do know that the zombies that can show up here have trance. So he might be getting trance-locked.
Well, he reset on an ogre fight, so I'm wondering if the ogres have some sort of, like, nasty touch effect.
I will admit I was largely focused on the Tiamat fight, because I want to see how this is going.
Slowly. It looks like that Tiamat's pretty beefy.
Super beefy.
And dangerous.
Black Belt was throwing out a casual 800 per pop, and Tiamat did not care.
Ah, okay. It's damage poison that's causing the issues, and I guess L is just wanting to conserve as much healing as possible for after getting through the fiends.
That is understandable. He doesn't... He already knows what's coming up, so... So, Chisenir moves his one-punch woman down to the 3rd slot. Sees that he's up against Warmech, white shirt. Fast on the black belt. The green belt.
The,
Power
I'm about to ruin this robot's entire career belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, white shirt and Viz 2 going off, power bonk going up on the black belt.
I mean, it's the nice thing about having a beefy knight up front, is that you don't stress as much about him taking the wax when you've got a black belt behind to blast through. A shirt, a fade, a bonk, and another shirt cast, essentially, from the red mage.
I think I saw... was that in Viz 2 or Lock 2? It was in Viz 2, okay.
The fade caster is wiped out, so that doesn't happen, but... Right now... Yeah, he's gonna continue with the invises and the power bomb.
Yeah, I think he's up to 5 invises once this one goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
might. Another power bonk. Another invis. This will take us up to 6. Pretty much right outside the realm of any normal hits and into only crits getting through. But 1 crit from Warmech getting through, and this could be a bad day for the black belt.
Yeah, but, alright, that should be the last invis stack, so that red mage is now free to do horrible things to the evil men. And by horrible things, I mostly just mean fade.
Fades. All the fades, because you need to get them wiped out. We're already starting to get 1, so that must be 2 fade casts in. Ooh, 6 hits for only 377.
Well, that was without any crits.
Yeah. Still, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah. Now the bright side with the situation for Cheesinator is there is a slightly higher chance of that red mage taking a punch from Warmech than the black belt, I believe.
Continuing to buff.
I mean, you might as well.
Mhm.
You know, the fight really doesn't begin until those evil men are down. And now the fight's begun.
Now the fight has really begun. So you just have to hope for no crits, which we saw before. Warmech didn't have a high chance to crit. And from what Crabcakes was saying, that's over half the damage to that Warmech. Oh, God! Wow.
So anyway, this is why black belts get very silly sometimes.
Yeah.
13 hits for almost 2,000 damage.
Almost
I believe... Yeah, there we go. Bye, Warmech.
That was a casual Chaos Health amount of damage right there.
Yeah.
Cheesinator.
So that is a 4th place finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 18 seconds. And yeah, we're going to try and get Cheese in here for a conversation about that seed while Elmarkin continues to punch to try and fight his way through this, and Will Bloodworth is lost in ordeals. Black Belt was level 35 or level 36. Mid-30s, basically. I caught a glimpse of that the last time the Black Belt leveled. And Cheese should be popping up here in a sec. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. GG, Cheese.
GG, thank you.
GG. That was very nicely done.
Yeah, I thought I was kind of a little haphazard in the mid-game, kind of got lost checking some low percent things and clearing kind of dead-end sort of places, but I managed to pick it back up towards the end.
Yeah, Elmar can actually beat you into Topher by about 10 minutes, but he's been running into some issues with not getting those defensive buffs off in time to weather the onslaught of punches from the final boss.
Ouch. And resets are pretty costly here because there are like 3 floors full of encounters to go through just time-wise.
Yeah. And there's apparently some rather rude stuff on the way down, so...
Chat points out that defense is Mia. I did fail to check a couple weapon shops, but I should have checked them. I didn't find a defense, though.
I mean, it's one of those things, you have power bunks and white shirts for sale in Melmond. It's just like, who needs defense at that point?
Yeah, plus Invis 2 was red learnable. There was so much red learnable stuff. All I was sacrificing was Cure 4, and I was fine with that set.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're the only on-stream runner who actually availed themselves of the taverns.
Yeah, I mean, open party selection kind of negates most of the usefulness of taverns, but I knew I wanted to eventually get a black belt. I thought that if I could promote, because I never found the tail, if I could promote, might want to replace my knight and ninja, or some other class, and so on. But yeah, I gradually improved my party as the seed asked for it.
Yeah, the tail was in the armory, for the record.
I got there super late anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, what were your thoughts on the seed as a whole? You know, we've kind of been sitting here cutting up and being glad that we didn't actually have to run it, so...
Oh, 1 second. I just want to thank Speed Gaming 4 for their raid of 65 people coming in here to watch the end of this seed here. Thank you to Speed Gaming 4. Continue, please.
Woohoo! Raid, first of all. Yeah, so I didn't think it was that bad. You started off with good AoE and exit, like red and white learnable exit right off the bat, so already dungeons are pretty free to at least check, if not necessarily survive through. And then Floater was buried in kind of a bad spot. It was an incentive at a non-incentive location and behind a double split. But beyond that, I don't think it was too bad.
I mean, speaking of the double split, I personally enjoyed Crescent and Lefane being at the bottom of that. Yeah.
Lots of deep towns today, some of which I revisited because I had to or wanted to, but I tried to not go back too much to the deep towns.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm just trying to think of things that we noticed about your run.
I was probably the only person with an opening party like mine.
Yeah, actually, Ale and Crab Cakes took the same party and stuck with it, and Will stuck with his party.
Cool. Speaking of Ale, he's on the final boss here, so maybe we can call this.
I mean, this is the 5th time he's gotten here.
Yeah.
It is one of those things like, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where he's okay. Well, he's actually throwing out some white shirts this time, so like,
It's helping.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he's got to kind of get through the evil men before it's really like likely to go differently than the other 4 times. Sorry, Ale.
What are
I'm
the
not
evil
trying
men
to be
doing?
mean.
Are the evil men just hitting hard or something? Because I didn't notice them doing anything.
It's mostly that he hasn't been getting his defenses up quickly, but I think he finally got
He did.
2 waves of 3 white shirts off. So
Well, and I also think that he was just getting unlucky, and the evil men were also critting harder. Because when they fought Crab Cakes, she was only getting like plink damage, like 2, 3, 5 damage from the evil men. He was suffering like blows of 60, 70, 120, and that kind of changed the dynamic for him about how fast the evil men were wiping him out.
Totally. Alright, yeah, it looks like the buffs are getting in place here, and he should have it this time. I'm gonna have to watch Crab Cakes run back on the restream. I can imagine, though, easily there's a lot of skippable entrances in this one, and if you actually prioritized looking for fiends rather than key items, you would have been done a lot faster.
I think just the way it worked out, she had a good route that happened through this, and then, like, it just all... I mean, it's Crab Cakes. So we can say it all fell her way, but she's also quite skilled in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
And while we're talking about our runners, I want to remind everyone that if you have a moment, please do follow our runners, Will Bloodworth, Crab Cakes, Ale Markin, and Cheeseinator. If you're in the chat, you can hit a command and see all 4 of their Twitch addresses. I'll remind people, though, that Crab Cakes is CrabCakes2 on Twitch. While you're also here, you can follow the commentary crew, myself, DarkEX, and my co-commentator, Woke, as well as our trackers, Danny3883 and Darren Dries. Give us all a follow, then follow all the Speed Gaming family of networks, because, you know, they're kind enough to host us, and we should give them some love. So, Ale Markin he's got the evil men down. He's just trying to work through all the health that's on these 2 Warmechs before Warmech comes back in them.
yeah, it's kind of a race against the critical hit.
The crit clock.
Crit clock. Crit.
You know, I saw Heal 3 and the wherever Onrak was, but I didn't have the money at the time. Of course, I eventually would have had 2 casters of it because it was web learnable. Oh, there goes one. But it would have been much better than Cure 3. I was casting Cure 3 to stay alive in Topher. Fortunately, it worked out.
You know someone's running low on the spells when they're bracking Warmech.
Well, he doesn't
But
really
yeah,
have much
he should
better
have
to
it
do.
at this point. That was
Yeah.
a hit for 1,000
Yeah,
off of that night.
That was pretty.
All
There
right.
you go.
And Al Markin has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 53 seconds, squeezing in 13 seconds before Burt Reynolds finishes in 6th place at 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 6 seconds.
GG's to them both. I also have to comment, I love Burt Reynolds' name. I think that's a fabulous name. I always laugh whenever I see him join one of the games. Always.
So, hi, Ale. GG.
Hi, friends. Thank you.
Are you
Hey,
tired of
GG.
looking at Warmex yet?
I think I'm gonna be dreaming about him for the next, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours. How much ever sleep I get tonight.
The nightmares.
GG Ale.
Thank you.
Yeah, so basically, Ale, the biggest difference between you and Cheese and Crab Cakes was just they were able to get those white shirts off way faster against Warmech.
Yeah, that
Both
makes
times.
sense. I should have gone back to the Melman spot and grabbed the extra 2 way earlier than I did, but you know, felt like being cheeky and it kind of bit me in the tail. So it is.
Yeah, I mean,
if
it's
you go
one of those...
back and watch.
Go ahead.
If you go back and watch her performance, you'll see that she makes it before even heading to Topher. She makes a beeline to pick up the power box and the white shirts and just gives herself a full compliment there. That's really what gave her the edge, even over like Ray Fates Caleb, who was actually in Topher before she.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think my early game pushed me back compared to the other people because I was diving through Dwarf Cave, and I think I wiped one floor away from Crescent, which ended up having the floater. And then I did all this other nonsense before going back to it. So I think that was kind of part of what put me back a little bit compared to the other one.
I mean, honestly, you all kind of found Crescent around the same time.
Okay, well, that's reassuring.
And,
Yeah, like,
well, and if you go back and watch the VOD, you'll notice that you were actually an orb up over everyone else. Like, once everyone started lighting their orbs, obviously crab cakes accepted, you were an orb up over everyone for a while there. So your early game was on point, and your late game was actually pretty good. It's just Warmac had other ideas about it.
Yeah, I think it was, what, three-ish, we'll call it, fights on the Bridge of Destiny where my fighters or my DPS got crit through evasion stacks and killed.
yeah, so was there... speaking of that, was there a reason you didn't, try and slip the fighter or the ninja into the back row? Just to kind of keep them out of the line of fire from that sort of thing?
I thought about it a couple times, but I was really hoping that with the armor, if they did get trucked or, chunked after like a third or fourth white shirt stack, and keep them up. Because I was really relying on the mages for temper and fast, especially not knowing what fiend was after.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just kind of a situation where, like, I don't know, I probably would have thrown that black mage up front, just to, because, the white mage could pick him up after the fact, but at least buys your, main DPS an extra hit.
Yeah, I did a little bit of reordering, but I actually kept the melees towards the top for the same reason. My reds had so much important stuff to cast that I was trying to just soak hits with my top characters while the reds, got the real buffs up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see, I'm just trying to think of other observations that we had over the course of this seed. So anyway, did y'all appreciate the deep irony of having ribbons available from the get-go and then find them all in boxes?
Yeah, I thought like 6 ribbons and about 8 Excaliburs.
Yeah, we've been challenging the YouTube comments for when this video goes up to, just leave a comment counting how many Excaliburs we saw and how many ribbons. And
there was a gag about the Lady of the Lake sword emporium.
Yeah, you'll see it, but the important thing beyond Darkmoon and I's really bad sense of humor is if you watch this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Ding ding.
So
right.
I'll ask a strategy question. It sounds like a lot of people spent some amount of time in Topher wiping, not getting the preferred turn order, whatever. Did anyone else do a stationary grind? What were their levels? Because I went up to 32 and then was like 35 or 36 by the final boss. So I could take some hits, I could survive and nuke and so forth.
The only grind I can really think of, unless I missed it on your screen, Ale, was Will Bloodworth actually did a little bit of grinding outside of Elfland, because, there's the inn right there. You take 5 steps, you're standing on Mirage 2, or Mirage 1, and then you just...
were early.
Yeah, you take a few fights, you go back inside, you heal at the inn, you walk back outside. It was actually really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think the primary strategy that Crab Cakes used, and it's something I try and mimic even though, I'm nowhere near as good as she is, it's the idea of the walking grind, because I think just taking the fights that she did and being willing to go hit a couple things, like going and hitting the red D chest late just to see what was there while she was right before she went to carry, because, it was guarded by the quad red Hydras, which are good experience. It's just, take what you can get, and without really pushing for it, she managed to get a casual mid-30s on all of her party members.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I did take a thief to start off, and I was kind of prioritizing exploration, I ran from a lot of stuff. And it's also the case that my magic was bad for like 80% of the seed, and I was dealing with, level 2 AoE items against clamped mobs. So it's not like I wanted to grind against that stuff. I was kind of waiting for one of those tiles like the red Hydras to show up.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things with the way XP scaling was set up for this seed. a stationary grind wasn't, strictly speaking required if you just, were doing, like Darkin was saying, doing kind of a walking grind.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't stop on any tiles, I would have been mid-20s instead of mid-30s, which also probably could win, but it would have been way dicier.
Yeah, now Burt Reynolds is in chat saying that he did grind a black belt up to 50 fighting the R-Hydras on the Agma tiles.
Whoa.
That's rough.
That's the superpower. But I mean, at 400% Clint, it's compelling at least. But you'd need a different final boss than like Warmech and Friends to really sell me on the 50 black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Garland fight or something would work really well for the black belt, or like the double dragons.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that we may be planned to wrap up soon. Will Bloodworth is likely going to be at this for a while. And while Speed Gaming 3 has graciously let us know that we have plenty of time, I personally have work in the morning.
Yeah, fair. I'll leave that all to y'all. Thanks for casting, tracking, and everything else. Thank you, Speed Gaming.
Yeah.
I was even just on a Speed Gaming thing last night. Great network.
Yeah.
Anyways, peace out.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, do you have any final thoughts on the seed before you run off immediately, Cheese?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I'm pleasantly surprised to have done better than expected. Maybe I did get some lucky turn order, but yeah, with how bogged down in the mid game I pleasantly got a top 4, so I'm happy about that.
All right. Ale, what about you?
I'm dreaming of a Warmech Christmas, and it's only January, so that's all I got there. No, the only comment I really have is watching Will Bloodworth run, and I'm noticing he's all got opal bracelets on everybody, and I'm like, wish I had found those somewhere, but
yeah, they were kind of scattered in weird places. But yeah, I was going to say, if folks want to continue watching Will suffer, he's going to be at this for a while, having commentated some of his self-imposed challenges in the past. So you can head over there and watch and see how long it takes him. Which is one of those things, like we were saying, knowing Will, he might opt to get 2 more party members, but he might not.
He might not. I mean, Will is famous for the you only need one strategy. He only tends to take extras if he has to, or there's some particular strategy he's working. So, he's been running 2-man this whole time. He may play for another 4 hours, see if he can fight his way through on 2-man and get lucky.
Yeah, his 2 men are already level 40, and he's probably going to take him to 50.
Oh, I think he'll just accidentally get to 50 without even trying.
Yeah, but otherwise, for those of you watching us live, if you look over in the chat, not only can you see a link to Will Bloodworth and everyone else who's been involved with this restream, both on the screen and behind the scenes, but you see that link to those Discords down there? You should check them out. One of them is Speed Gaming's, and that's how you can keep up with all the stuff they're doing. And the other one is Final Fantasy Randomizer. We have a spring tournament coming up, and you should come hang out with us and learn it, and then join the tournament. And then, turn out to be the surprise dark horse that everyone is impressed by and learns to fear.
And bear in mind,
there's always one.
If you're interested in the game, want to play it either casually or be a part of the races, you can head on over to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, check out the game. Discord links are there, be a part of the community, come in, have fun, play it at your own pace, and just enjoy the game for what it is as well.
Yeah, alright. Now, I think on that note, I don't know where Speed Gaming 3 is going to send y'all, but like I said, if you want to keep with Will Bloodworth, you got the link right there, so we shall
They are joking. They're joking in chat about sending us all over onto the Ocho.
I mean, anyway, I think it's going to do it for me. Darkman, you got anything else to add, or will we send these fine folks to their destinations?
No, you pretty well covered it for me, too. Thanks to everyone out there. Make sure to give us some follows, and we will see you guys next time.
Alrighty. Take care.